Are you locked in? September is here, summer is over, kids are back to school, and the great September lock in is in full effect. So, if you haven't been paying attention, this is something that Gen Z has coined as this kind of rush towards the end of the year where we're going to go all in, whether it's on well being or on our goal setting or whatever it is. And so, I want us to take this moment, the great lock in, and think to ourselves, how am I applying this to my teams and my leadership and my business or whatever it is that I need to be applying this to? Because this is a great moment. And it's not just because it's a trend on TikTok. It's because this is a reminder that we have, however many weeks left in the year, however many Mondays to kick things off, however many Fridays to wind things down, however many weeks to set goals to make progress on the things that we want to. Now, it's not to scare you into burning everyone out and to burning the candle on both ends and on creating chaos. It's to really level set you that we have this moment we can all kind of reignite energy around, especially when it comes to our teams. Because I don't know about you, but I felt like this summer was really slow. Like people really stepped away. They really took some time off, which is awesome because I think a lot of us needed to do that. But now it's a moment to say, okay, we're back. Let's re-energize our teams. Because if we don't seize that moment, then we kind of just like hum along towards the end of the year and finish with a sort of like an uneventful stop. It doesn't set us up well for the next year. And it certainly doesn't keep our teams or businesses competitive. So we don't want to do that. All right. And that's what we're going to talk about today. How to really fully tap into the great lock-in. I'm Leah Garvin, and this is the new Manager Playbook. And I'm on a mission to make managing your team the easiest part of your job because dealing with people, well, it's hard enough. So I want to kind of paint a picture of, again, this year. It's been a lot for people. Ton of uncertainty in the economy, political uncertainty, a lot going on, threats of AI and layoffs and automations taking over every kind of company. So let's think about it from your team's perspective. They're exhausted. They're like, gosh, I just want some clarity and some certainty. I just want to, know what the hell's going on if I'm going to have a job in 6 months. So people are feeling really low. And that's not just my personal observations, of which I'm observing it every freaking day. But Gallup just came out with their State of the Workplace report, and they're finding that 79% of employees worldwide feel disengaged. So literally, only 1 in 5 employees actually feels like, yeah, I'm here, I'm ready to do this. 4 out of 5 employees are really struggling. So this means we got to do something about it. And that's where the great lock-in comes into play. It is this moment that we can re-energize folks around. Or it's something that we can miss the boat on it when there's like a lot of kind of positive energy in the world going on right now. And we can say like, yeah, I'm just going to like leave it and see what happens. I hear this a lot, and that's why I want to say it. What I hear a lot, things should just work themselves out. I'm going to deal with it later. People will just kind of figure it out their way. And the truth is, things don't work themselves out. Problems get worse. If your team is feeling unmotivated, how would that like work itself out? Just like think about that for a second. How is that going to work itself out? If people don't have clear expectations, how is that going to work itself out? If your team isn't really operating as productively as they could, if someone has a really bad attitude, if if you've had a revolving door of talent and you have people quitting, continually, how is that going to work itself out? Just like explain it to yourself in your mind for a second. That stuff doesn't work itself out. It actually just gets worse and worse and worse. And we know this because employee engagement is lower and lower and lower year over year. Think about 2 or 3 years ago, it was like 33% engagement. And that was like, oh God, that's bad. Now we're at 31%. Right? Or I think it was maybe 40. So we're dropping point by point by point by point every single year. And what does that look like? Folks don't show up to work excited. They don't finish projects as strong as they could. They're not going above and beyond. They only do what's spelled out for them. And if you're a business owner, that is the stuff that keeps you completely in the weeds. That's what I call kind of shifting into an ownership mindset. When people say, well, that's the task, but there's such a better way we could do this. And you want to reignite that in people. You want to ignite it in the first place, and then you want to keep it ignited. Now, if you work in a corporate team, I get it. It's a weird time, okay? It is a weird time. A lot of layoffs, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of threats of automation. So the great lock-in is your time to say, hey, I don't know what's going on in the future. I don't know maybe what's going on past December 31st. But in the next 3.5 months, we are going to like really give it our all. We're going to connect as a team. We're going to recognize good work. We're going to give feedback. We're going to roll up our sleeves and solve hard problems. We're going to get a little bit scrappy and try to get things done. We're going to finish strong, because when we finish strong, that creates this positive morale, this positive buzz on the team that makes us realize, yeah, we actually can do hard things. We can deliver even when things feel uncertain or chaotic. And that feeling is what people need right now. They need something to care about. And so when we get everyone aligned around a common thing, the great lock-in, finishing strong, a big deliverable, and we show them, I'm not just pushing you to grind you to the bone. I'm not just trying to burn you out, but we're all doing this together to get to some point. So you've got to set that goal. This is what reignites all your teams. I'm telling you, I've seen it over and over and over. Back when I was at Microsoft, we were working towards launching the HoloLens, so the first, augmented reality headset or holographic computer. And I remember we were working towards the build demo, and we were really, let's just say we had the demo in a few weeks, and we were not close to doing that. And the team at the time was all in person. Obviously, it was about, 10 years ago. And we worked every single weekend. We worked every single weekend for about 9 months to ship that product. But leading up to this demo, we came in, we stayed late. We came on Saturday, on Sunday, we brought lunch, we played music. We were all rallying towards this common goal. And it was about a few days before the demo, and we all stayed, every single person. We came in on a Saturday and we stayed and pulled an all-nighter. And I remember this. We were all delirious. We were just kind of like, oh my God, we were watching the demo again and again, and it wasn't quite working. And then finally, at 6 a.m., we got it, and we were all screaming and cheering, and people went and got McDonald's breakfast. And it was like this moment. We all rallied towards something. We were all there, and there was no way, even if you didn't really need to be there all night, that you were going to leave. Like, no way. You were in it. And it's hard to find that right now, obviously, with distributed teams. And if you're hybrid or if you're working fully remote, it can be hard to find that common thing. But I'll always remember that night, because not only did a friend of mine show me how to do the moonwalk, which was a pretty made it worth it for me. We were all there. We all cared so much. And that enthusiasm actually carried us forward. So once we did that demo, it was a success on stage at the Build conference. We continued to work over the weekend again and again and again. And it was because we knew, like, hey, we're all in this together. And I'm telling you, your teams, they can go above and beyond. They can do very hard things. They can be resilient. They can put in more hours. They can do whatever is needed if they feel passionate about it, if they care about it. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, you were launching a kind of cool computer that might have been interesting to folks, but like, we're a stationery store. Who cares? Or we're just, shipping, like widgets or whatever, right? How do you make that connection? Well, you spend time getting to know your team members. You create a goal. You connect their job to how that works to launching it, right? So you say, hey, here's how you fit into the bigger picture. And you get everyone excited about their piece in the puzzle. So I work with a lot of med spas, and I'm often asked this question, I get like, how does, the head injector, feel like they're moving the needle in the business? But what about the person that's just like cleaning up the medical offices between appointments? How does that person feel like they fit into the bigger picture? How do I get that person motivated? They're literally just cleaning machines, setting up shots and wiping down, tables. How does that person care? I said, well, that person might be the most important person in your team. Because when you come to a med spa or a gym or a salon or anything like that, and it's a high-end place, what is the first thing you notice? If it's dirty, if it's messy, if it seems gross, if it's unkept, if the things are late. And so people may not compliment that, but that's the first thing you're going to read on Yelp or Google reviews if it's missing. So those medical assistants, the folks, the med techs that are kind of cleaning things up between, they might have the most important job because they actually keep up the whole appearance. They keep everything running smoothly. Now, I've had the same question come up with software program managers. Program managers can feel very administrative. It can feel like, well, gosh, or a project manager, program manager, I'm just kind of tactical and how does my job matter? And I've gotten this question before because I managed program managers for many years working in tech. And in the very same way, I said, well, gosh, I get it. The product manager, they're kind of always the front facing person. The head engineer, yes, the UXer. But the program manager or the project manager in some cases, they're the glue that holds the whole thing together. If you don't have a clear schedule, deliverables outlined, someone really looking ahead at what risks are coming and outlining how we're going to mitigate those, if you don't have that, you don't have anything. And so the program manager, they literally are keeping the train on the tracks. And when I shared this with program managers in my career, their complete demeanor changed. Even if they were working on some random feature that they didn't really care about, they cared about it because they mattered. And that is how we get people to care and to feel this great lock-in, is that we show them why they matter. And it doesn't matter what kind of job someone's in, I'm telling you. And if you're struggling with this, please come ask me, how to connect that to your teams. Because I teach this all the time. Because when folks see that shift, their entire way they approach their job changes. I'm telling you. And a big piece of this, it's recognizing work, right? It's saying, hey, what are the wins? What are we doing? What's going well? And that's how we sustain this great lock-in, right? We don't just wait till December 31st and go, did we make it? No, we say, hey, here's how you connect to the bigger picture, and let's celebrate the things that are going well along the way. It's not participation awards. It's giving meaningful feedback. That's why folks love my Snippets template, because we write down every week, Friday, map out top wins and accomplishments, right? Where am I stuck or need support? So you make sure folks are really flowing, and the priorities for next week. Because if we don't have a sense of that, how do we keep people engaged? How do we keep people really working towards that goal? We can't. So that's the first place to start. If you're like, I don't even know how to approach this, grab the Snippets template. It's at leahgarvin.com/snippets. And it's a super lightweight practice that is mostly centered around celebrating wins and keeping that momentum. That's why folks are loving it, because it's very, very easy to use. And frankly, it's not another status report, but you get to understand the status of work. So I want you to take this moment. Everyone else is doing it. It's all over TikTok. Be a part of the great lock-in. Reignite your team. Re-energize folks around it. And let's bring that 79% of people who feel disengaged. Let's try to get it to like 70. Let's try to get even lower. Let's have your team not be the case, right? I remember Jon Stewart years ago had a skit around like 4 out of 5 dentists for men recommend brushing your teeth. And he had like, well, what is that 5th dentist? Like, wow, who cares? It's like, this is, why do you want to have a team where only 1 out of 5 people really wants to be there? Let's get it up to 3, to 4. Let's get it up to all 5. That is completely in your control. And if you need support, you know who to call. Talk soon.